Warning, we sometimes use swear words on this podcast. Hi, we're on cue.
I'm Liz. I'm a music supervisor.
I'm Trish. I'm a film director, and we are going to dish about music and movies and life.
This week, we are cozying down. I mean, I've turned up to your house. The fire is on. The candles are lit. It's a nice smell in the air. I really do feel like we're in the holiday season.
Yes. For those that live in a cold climate this time of year, it is, I mean, we're in Los Angeles. It's not that cold, but it's chilly.
There is a chill.
It's crisp, and I do love the winter.
Me too.
I think a lot of us sleep better. I think it is fun to wear scarves and thick socks.
I got some on right now.
Yeah, it feels really good. So what we thought we would do is celebrate cozy season being officially on by creating cozy movie date nights with our honeys.
Lovely. I know. I've got one.
Okay.
But you're going to go first.
Okay, sure.
So can you set the scene for us before the movie comes on?
Yes. Now, when we get to it, you're going to see that my movie has quite a bit of music in it. So we need to set the tone for the evening musically with a lot of soulful music. A little bit of jazz, a little bit of blues, a little bit of maybe R&B. I, on a date night, like a bit of instrumental music. I'm not going to lie. I am very into bossa nova.
Are you?
Yeah.
I love a bit of that too.
You do, huh?
I do. I love all that kind of music. I can't dance to it like you can, but I love it.
You can dance to it. I've seen you. So yeah, I love a bit of bossa nova. So I have a bossa nova playlist, which we can drop in the show notes.
Great.
It's got bands like the Goblin Quartet, Martin Lima, Tom Rogers Band, Cole Pierce Trio. It's a little on the schmarmy side.
Easy listening?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My goal on this date night is to feel like the pig in a blanket.
Oh.
Do you know what a pig in a blanket is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to feel like a little sausage wrapped in flaky hot dough. So we have some bossa nova music playing. Not unlike right now. The fire is lit. The candles are lit. I want some nice smelling herbs. In fact, later when I make our cocktail for today, you're going to taste this spiced syrup, like a spiced ginger syrup that I made for our cocktail.
Oh, lovely.
And when I was cooking that, the house smelled so good. So I want the house to smell like spices, and I want the dogs around. I wouldn't mind it being quite a bit windy outside. Not scary windy, not like the house or a tree is going to fall down, not like Santa Ana fire weather windy.
Got it.
But I want a little bit of a gusty wind. I'm picturing that I'm not in my house in LA, but I'm in a cabin somewhere. There's probably snow on the ground.
Lovely.
In fact, I think my date and I probably can't leave the house for 5 or 6 days due to the snowstorm.
What?
Yeah.
Any kids around?
No.
No kids?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I love kids,
yeah.
but
Not on this date.
no, this is our
Excursion.
date night. Right.
Okay.
Now, we're probably going to spend the entire evening in the living room. I want there to be some big fluffy blankets all around the room. The dogs are already asleep, nestled in their blankets. The fire, like I said, is roaring. And we're going to have soup. We're going to eat soup for dinner.
Okay. What soup?
I think like a baked potato soup. Creamy.
Yes.
Carby.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to put bacon in because I'm not really eating bacon, but you kind of need it in a baked potato soup.
You could treat yourself.
Maybe. Yeah, but definitely some kind of smokiness in there. Definitely cheddar cheese all over that shit and jalapenos in there because I like a bit of a spicy.
I would love that.
Baked potato soup. We're going to serve it with a dollop of sour cream on top and some chives.
And ruse bread.
Yes, big fat slices of ruse bread. slathered in quality butter
Yum.
on the side. So that's what we're going to eat. But the good thing about soup, it's so contained. We're going to have these big bowls of soup and we're going to sit on the floor in the living room with our backs against the couch, bossa nova on, snow falling lightly outside with a little bit of a wind, a little bit of a blizzard.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then we can just eat the soup in the living room.
Okay, so we've set the scene.
Yeah.
It sounds perfect.
Thanks.
What are you going to watch?
So what we're going to watch is the movie Chef.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's a great movie. So written and directed by Jon Favreau, 2014. This movie has a little bit of everything. It's a food movie because it is about a guy. He's at a fancy restaurant in LA. His career kind of implodes for a variety of reasons. And it turns into a road trip movie, a rom-com of sorts, a buddy movie, a movie about parenting. I just feel like for anyone who has felt burned out or humiliated, irrelevant, deflated, misunderstood, underappreciated, anybody who has experienced failure, especially in a sort of public and humiliating way.
Yeah.
This movie is just about bouncing back from that and finding your creative process and your passion and your connection with people and your authentic kind of joy of life and direction and meaning again. And it's just such a...
And he's so supported by family and friends.
Yes.
Like
community.
his ex-wife is really supportive to him.
Yeah. She's great throughout.
Yeah.
And even her ex is kind of weirdly supportive, even though he's awful. It's a fabulous cameo performance by Robert Downey Jr. And it's just such a life-affirming movie. There's a wonderful scene right when his career is going absolutely up in smoke. He yells publicly at a restaurant critic played by Oliver Platt. He just lets loose on this restaurant critic. It is so cathartic. And I feel like if anybody needs to go nuclear right now on somebody, watch this scene to see how it's done and get it out of your system. It's just
it's a great scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene. You know, Jon Favreau had made so many big movies, Marvel movies and everything by the time he made this. And he says that it was his way of going back to basics. And I think the role of the character which he plays in the movie is a little bit autobiographical, even though he's not a chef. It's sort of about just making something that really matters to you and the audience will find it, essentially, right? And so...
Isn't he a chef as well? Or isn't he a cook?
Well, he says that he always wanted to do a food movie. I feel like since this movie came out, 10 years ago, there's been so many more shows like The Bear about restaurant culture and food culture and even Great British Bake Off and all of these cooking shows and whatever. So we're all kind of used to that now. But at the time, I don't know that there were really that many food movies. And Favreau wanted to make a food movie, but he says he was a decent bachelor cook. Like he could cook a couple things okay, if he had someone come over for it. So what he did was he called this guy, Roy Choi, who is a big name in food here in LA. And Roy Choi sort of stepped on to help him learn to handle a knife and learn basic cooking skills. And he ended up going to cooking school for like a really intensive week because he wanted to sort of do his own cooking stunts, so to speak. So he learned how to cook for this movie. And he actually said there is so much food created on camera in this movie. It's kind of spectacular. They didn't waste it. They fed the crew.
Oh, it just looks so gorgeous.
With that delicious food. Yeah, yeah. So Roy Choi eventually became a producer on the movie because he was so instrumental in guiding, I think, not just the cooking, but the story of starting a food truck and starting a restaurant and whatnot. So I just think it's a fabulous movie. It has such a great cast. I mean, he obviously called on his friends and connections in the industry. You've got John Leguizamo, who's fabulous in it, Scarlett Johansson, Dustin Hoffman, Sofia Vergara. Robert Downey Jr. has like a hilarious cameo as the ex-husband of Sofia Vergara. It's just so weird and funny.
Yeah.
And the kid who plays Favreau's son, his name is MJ Anthony Salazar. He was only 10 at the time. He's great. It's hard to find kid actors who can pull it off. I just think it's a really great movie.
I love a food movie and it always looks the best. I mean, look at the cakes we had in Sitting in Bars with Kate.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous.
Yeah. No, food is photogenic when it's done right, isn't it? So yeah, I love a good food movie too. This movie also, aside from the beautiful food, has really great music. They start out in LA, they go to Miami, they go to New Orleans, they go to Austin, they drive across the country. And they really captured, I think, the music of these different places. There's fabulous on-camera performances of Afro-Cuban music, Perico Hernandez in Miami. And then there's this great scene when they're leaving New Orleans. And there's been a lot of sort of New Orleans jazz and R&B. And when they're leaving New Orleans in their truck, a cover of Sexual Healing, it's performed actually by the Hot Ace Brass Band, is playing.
Oh, I love them.
And they all start singing in the car. Which is super inappropriate because the 10-year-old son is right there. There's a couple more great on-camera music moments. Gary Clark Jr., Texas blues singer, is singing in Austin. And it's just, there's so much soulful, wonderful music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Latin boogaloo, and there's a lot of just great music, start to finish.
It is. It's a great soundtrack. I love that film. It's got it all.
I agree.
So then what happens when the film ends?
Well, first of all, throughout the film, my back will be scratched and my scalp will be gently scratched with the tip of a bobby pin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By Rue? By
I'm
your
assuming
date?
that's my date for the night, Rue, probably. Yeah, no, right now Rue's my dream date, so he'll be there.
Okay.
And just scratching my back and my scalp with a bobby pin.
So you're having your back scratched,
Yeah.
all that, the film has ended, and then do you go get jiggy, the two of you?
Oh, well, yeah.
Actually, before that,
Okay.
is it a single story cabin or will you be going upstairs?
It's a single story cabin. And if there is an upstairs, we're not going upstairs.
Oh.
No, because there's so many blankets in the fire. We're not going. You know how cabins
Rug
get
on
like
rug on the
yeah, probably
in
just
front
right
of the
there.
fire?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But I will say this, I fall asleep during movies, every movie. I don't care if
Okay.
it's a good movie. I don't care if I'm in the theater, in my bedroom, in a cabin in the woods. I will fall asleep. And especially with the bobby pin,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
that's
quite-
very relaxing.
I'm going to be very sleepy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need something that revs it up, picks up the energy a bit, but also I don't want something to wake me up roughly. Like I'll get panicky.
Yeah.
And I might even get angry if I get woken up too
Ooh,
soon.
okay.
So it's going to be a sweet spot that we have to find here. The song that's going to get me there, Stay With Me Tonight by Jeffrey Osborne.
Can we hear a bit of it?
Yeah, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
But oh, you try so hard not to stay. Oh, all the things you do to me, and girl, oh, my love can't be concealed. Girl, you know the deal. Baby, stay with me tonight.
So that's a choice.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has some tempo to it.
Yeah, I mean, I dare you to not thrust and grind your hips a bit when you hear that song.
Okay.
Like if I was falling asleep and that song came on,
Yeah.
I would probably just like rip my pants off and go.
Can I be honest with you? I probably wouldn't do that.
That song doesn't do it for you?
Not really. It doesn't really do it for me. But
I'm surprised. I thought that was sort of a universal aphrodisiac song.
Oh.
No?
I think I need to listen to it more, and maybe I need to listen to it in a different environment. Let's put it like that.
Is this a
I'll
good
let you
point
know.
actually to switch to your dream date environment? Should we start talking
Yes.
about? Okay, let's go. What's your movie, music, and date night look like then?
So my date night is, it's kind of similar in setup to yours. I would love to be in a cabin
Nice.
in the woods.
Yeah.
I think I'll make it 2-story cabin.
Okay.
And so we're all cozying down. I've got the dogs.
Yeah.
No kids.
Yeah.
Now, it would be raining outside. I've just made the fire, so log fire roaring, made us a little cocktail. So we're just kind of snuggling down, and then we're ordering in Indian food.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite dish?
Well, we love a chicken korma or chicken pasanda, nice and saucy, but not too hot.
Yep.
Then we'll probably have like a vegetable korma, maybe a sagaloo. Always love a garlic naan and some
Absolutely.
pilau rice. Then we will always have a nice bottle of red going.
100% with
So I've got
Indian.
all that sorted.
Great.
And then I'll have a nice dessert.
What are you doing, like a rice pudding?
No, I might do a syrup sponge, steamed syrup sponge with homemade custard, which has already been made.
Yeah, you've got to prep that.
Yeah, it's all made. So the dogs are there. We've got like a big long sofa with a chaise longue.
Yeah.
Right. So we're snuggled up on that bit and the dogs are all on the
Lined
other
up
bit.
on
We've
the-
got some nice blankets.
Got it.
I would be having a little foot massage.
Oh, is that your version of the bobby pin?
That is my version of the bobby pin. That would be so relaxing.
Yeah.
Truth, it probably only lasts 5 minutes, but
Do you like a hard foot massage or like a soft one?
I think I like it medium.
Okay.
Medium. I mean, I don't want too much of a tickle. You know, firm,
Like
maybe.
a little bit of digging.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit of firmness
Okay.
in there. So then we would get all cozy, snuggle down. Fire is roaring, lots of candles.
Well, what about music?
Oh, well, we would probably be having some neoclassical.
Oh.
I don't want too many vocals going on. I don't want
Yeah, I don't like
lyrics in-
vocals on a date. Well, until Jeffrey Osborne.
Yeah, I have several playlists
Okay.
already made for that
Okay.
purpose. You know, gentle, Oliver Arnold will be in there,
Sure.
Max Richter, Johan Johansson. So that would be just getting us all nice and relaxed. And then it will be time for the film.
Okay, great. Well, what film are you watching?
My film, I think, is probably one of the most romantic films I have ever seen in my life. It's called Before Sunrise.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, from the 90s, right?
That's right, from 95. Stars Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, directed by Richard Linklater. I think it's the most perfect film for a date night. Jesse and Celine, they meet on a train. And then Jesse convinces Celine to get off in Vienna. And they spend the whole day and night walking around Vienna, talking about all their different perspectives on life. And we get to be there with them, listening. There's a lot of dialogue in this film. And then we get to just see beautiful Vienna and all these gorgeous landmarks. So after walking around for ages, they share a kiss at the top of a giant Ferris wheel. So they have this like big romantic connection.
Do you know what I love about that kiss, by the
What?
way? Is they kiss and it is romantic and then they hug.
Yeah.
You rarely see that, especially in a rom-com where they hug.
I think they just have the best chemistry. I mean, they are so believable as a couple and that whole getting to know each other. And they're just like immersed in this world. You know, you can see there's a whole kind of discovery of each other and themselves. You see those moments, particularly with Julie Delpy's character, where she has all these theories and everything. And you can see that he's completely smitten with her. She's super smart. So, yeah. There's not a lot of music in the film. It's mainly classical music, actually. But there is one gorgeous moment, I don't know if you remember it, where they're in the record shop.
Oh, yeah.
And that track by Kath Bloom plays called Come Here.
There's a wind that blows in from the north, and it says that loving takes its course. Come here, come here.
And they're kind of stuck in this booth.
In a
together,
listening booth,
In a
yeah.
listening booth. And it's really cute because they're stealing looks at each other. They're
Their
not really looking at
timing
each
is
other.
impeccable.
It's brilliant. He's looking at her and then she's not, and then she's looking back
Yeah.
at him, and they're not catching each other's eye, but you can see them really, like, I don't know, when you're in that moment, or if you're playing someone a favorite song and you kind of want to see how they react. You want them to love this song, but you don't want them to know that you're looking at them.
Totally. I love that moment.
I know. I love that moment as well. I wanted them to just have a full-on kiss in that booth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you expect them to, and they don't.
Yeah, and they didn't do it. I wouldn't have been able to help myself. I'd have gone in for the kiss.
But it did have a glass door, so it wasn't as private
yeah, I guess.
as when they do eventually share the kiss, no one else is around.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Kath Bloom, she still plays with her band Love at Work, and she works with children and trains donkeys in Connecticut.
Wow, she's your people.
She is my people. And I love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's so romantic.
Yeah,
it's
I
so
agree.
nice. And maybe it stands out more because there isn't a lot of other music in it. And it's unusual because I like films with a lot of music. It was inspired by a woman that Richard Linklater met in Philadelphia in 1989. And they spent the night walking around the city together. But Richard Linklater revealed that she died in a motorcycle accident before Sunrise was released.
Oh, man.
I know. That's so sad. It's part of the Before trilogy. So there are 2 other films. The second one is Before Sunset, released in 2004. So 9 years later after meeting in Vienna.
Yeah.
That's a lovely film too. The third one is After Midnight. That was released in 2013, 9 years later too. I think they deliberately wanted to make it 9 years apart. You have to watch all 3 to see if they get together.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching. So I love it. I think it's the most romantic film. Snuggled down on the sofa watching this with the rain outside.
Because it has a really languorous pace.
Yes.
Too.
I mean, there's not much of a plot. It is them walking around Vienna, getting to know each other. But I'm not bored at all.
No.
The dialogue, the way it's written is really good. And it's not cheesy.
The pinball scene is pretty. I just, as a director, am impressed that Ethan Hawke can play pinball pretty well while he's talking.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they dealt with that continuity wise. Like, did they plan when they were going to switch turns, or did they just shoot it and actually play pinball while they were having this scene and cut it as best they could around who was where when? Like, the technical side of me obsesses over that scene, how they shot, and even the sound design of that scene, because they're in a bar, there's a real pinball machine going. How did they shoot this and get the dialogue and have the timing work out? Were they cross shooting, meaning were there 2 cameras, so they just captured it all in the same take?
Maybe we could ask Richard Linklater one time.
Let's get him on
Maybe
here.
one day he would come on the podcast, because I love all of his films, but we could ask him that.
Yeah.
You could have your
I
director's
also
hat on.
wouldn't mind having Julie Delpy on here, because she's a director herself too.
Yes.
And she seems really rad.
Maybe we should.
I wouldn't mind having Ethan Hawke himself either. Let's have
Yeah.
all 3 of them.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now listen, at some point the movie ends, the foot rub ends, and you're going to bang your date, I assume.
Well, make love.
Oh, you're going to make sweet love?
Yeah, make sweet love.
You're not going to bang to Jeffrey Osborne like I'm going to do? All right, so...
That's a bit too up tempo for me.
All right, so then what? What's the music supervision for your love making?
I think it's going to come a little left field for you. There's kind of 2 I've got.
Okay.
Careless Whisper, George Michael.
Oh. I can get behind that.
You can?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Katie Lou and I, we love that song. We always have a laugh to that song. So
Shall we
there'll
hear
probably be a lot of laughter.
Shall we hear Careless Whisper?
Yes, please. I'm not going to lie. There probably would be a little laughter before.
Because it's hard not to associate that song with all the memes.
I know. But it was a favorite long before that. But I also have another one.
Okay.
Now, this one I think you're going to relate to.
Great.
This is a pure, unadulterated, sexy song.
I love it already.
It's called They Say I'm Different by Betty Davis. Betty Davis was married to Miles Davis for a while. And she had this album from, I think, 1974. And their song is raunchy.
Let's have a listen.
Okay.
They say I'm different cause I'm a piece of sugar cane. Sweet to the core, that's right, I got a real bone. My great-grandma didn't like a foxtrot. Now instead she spit, it's nothing boogie down my drain.
It's a bite your lip song.
Yeah. This one actually could give Jeffrey Osborne a run for its money in terms of getting me out of my...
I thought of that one and I thought, I bet Trish would like this one. I mean, it could be a new one to put in your repertoire.
This could pull me out of my bobby pin stupor.
I mean, when she just gets even more raucous throughout the song. Raunchy central.
Good choice.
Yeah, thanks.
Liz, it's my dream that sometime when we're all in Idlewild at the same moment, we can maybe have a double date, all of us in the living room of a cabin.
That would be heaven. And in the wintertime, so we could have some snow.
Yeah. Let's make it a plan.
Let's make that a plan. I think that would be lovely. We could put a load of films in a hat that we all love and we think are romantic and pick one out?
Yes. Would
Okay.
you ever let me run the music on such an event?
No, never. Trish, it's time for a cocktail. Are we going back to alcohol this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I made you a cozy cocktail as you requested and in keeping with our theme this week. This is called the Bearskin Rug.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, I nearly poked my eye out with a cinnamon stick then.
Yeah, I garnished it with a cinnamon stick.
Oh, my Lord. You do make a stiff drink, don't you?
I do.
That is lovely. I could have that on my date night.
Yeah, this would be a great cozy date night cocktail.
It'd loosen you up.
Absolutely. It's very warming inside and very fortifying.
I love this. I know we'll have the recipe in the show notes, but I would like it probably when I leave here today.
Sure. It's Irish whiskey and Grand Marnier, equal parts.
Yum.
And then it's a little bit of cassis liqueur and a little bit of Chinese allspice bitters, which is, I don't know what Chinese allspice really is.
I've just found a trick when you take a sip so you don't get the cinnamon stick in your face. You put your nose in the way. You can hold it with your nose.
Elegant.
Yeah.
Elegant. Cheers. So, Liz, it's your turn to tell us what you're into this week. What's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing is all of the kids' movies that I've seen in 2024 with my son and my wife.
All of them, like a bundle.
A bundle, because as it's the end of year,
Sure.
whenever there's a new movie out, any kids or family movie, regardless of what it is, we all go and see it. And we go to this lovely movie theater near us. We can have cocktails. Sometimes I order a salad. The food is nice there.
Yeah.
It's not just popcorn and whatever. And Oliver,
Do they bring it to you in your seat? I like that.
you bring the button. So it's a whole experience thing.
I like that.
And he always has chicken tenders.
Sure.
Some of the films we've seen this year, this is only a handful because we go to every new one. Transformers 1, My Penguin Friend, If, Despicable Me 4, the Garfield movie, Kung Fu Panda, Red One, loads more. It's opened me up to a whole new world of movies that I would never have seen. Some of them I'd never need to see again. But it's just so lovely to watch Oliver watch these movies. He wasn't a big fan of movies, and I always wanted him to love movies. I love movies, and I wanted to be able to go to the cinema with him. And I can't lie, I thought if we go to a nice cinema, there's chicken tenders, there's
You bribed him.
blue
You bribed
slushy
him.
or whatever it
Sure.
is that he wants. And he loves going now. But he does love to go see a movie. And I think he thinks he's probably doing it more for me. But that's okay. I think I'm doing it for him. So that's my favorite thing. I've loved going to see all of these movies and having all of those memories and experiences this year.
That sounds very sweet.
Thank you.
I love that.
It's tarot time, Trish.
Tarot time, Liz. What's on your mind right now?
Our love lives. I mean,
I guess that's obvious, isn't
we
it?
just had a date night. Mm-hmm. How about pulling a card to tell us how our love lives are going to be?
Ooh, a card for our love lives.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody out there, whenever you're hearing this, whether you're partnered up or not, maybe you have multiple partners. I don't know. Maybe you need a partner, want a partner, or are breaking up with a partner. This is a tough time of year
Yeah.
because it's both the most romantic time of year for a lot of people and also kind of a tough time of year. It puts a lot of strain on relationships. Let's do a love life card. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, you want to pull it?
Yes, please.
Here she comes.
Over.
Okay.
Okay, I just took that with
Yeah, you did. Have you looked at it yet?
No.
Okay, what'd you get?
Here I go. We haven't had this card. It's a big one.
Okay.
Death.
Oh. Ooh. All right.
Do you know there's a whole thing about lesbian bed death?
Lesbian bed death? Wait, what? What is lesbian bed death?
I think lesbian bed death is when, because you know, like lesbians, you know someone 5 minutes and then you just move in together.
Yeah.
And then it's all full on for quite a while. Then you're with someone for years. No more sex. Lesbian bed death.
Oh, so bed death is like you're just buddies now.
Just buddies.
I could see how that could happen. Because sometimes I think I could be a lesbian and then I'm like, oh no, it would all be bed death for me. Because I just want women in my life as my best friends, and I could easily fall in love with them and then never want to have sex with them.
I think a lot of women feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this could be a card about lesbian bed death.
Yes.
But this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. A lot of people fear this card, but I think there are much scarier cards than the death card. It's often about letting stuff go and accepting change. And this is the end of a year. So obviously we're approaching the death of the calendar year. But also, let's face it, the solstice and the shortest days of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere, that's all about death, a sort of figurative death. Everything goes dormant. We spend a lot more time in our beds, in our houses, almost in like a cocoon. It's a form of death in order to sort of be reborn when the thaw comes and the spring starts. And death is a way of composting all of the things that need to be processed in order for new things to happen. Can you imagine if nothing on earth ever died? No plants, no animals, no people. We need death. So I see this as a season, essentially, more than anything else. Sure, it could mean for people that their relationship needs to die. But more often, it's that some change is coming. Some processing is happening. Some new growth is down the road, but maybe not yet. So in terms of our love lives, are you ready for a change? And that doesn't mean are you ready to leave your partner, but are you ready to make a change in yourself? Or are you ready to put something to bed in your relationship that needs to go to bed? It's about letting some of the old stuff go and letting some things that are out of date die.
Okay.
And it's not always comfortable and it's not always pretty. And sometimes it smells bad, literally and metaphorically. But
Are you saying this means we got to break up?
you and Kathleen?
Yeah.
No, I didn't pull this card just for you personally.
Okay.
But I mean, look, it might mean that you need to shake things up. Like maybe you need a little more Jeffrey Osborne in your love life. So, Liz, 'tis the season of giving. But before you give us the record of the week, let's remind everybody that we like to get mail.
Yes. Please send your emails to hello@oncuepodcast.com. We like voice memos too.
Or you can send us a DM on Instagram. You can leave a comment wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're at it, if you would rate and review and maybe subscribe.
Only if you like it.
Well, that's true. Don't rate and review us if you hate us. If so, maybe you could just quietly tell us that on the side. And with that said, Liz, what's the record of the week?
I have one of my favorite tracks from 2005. It's by an artist called Tom Veck. The track is called Nothing But Green Lights, and it's from his album We Have Sound. My favorite track from that album. I think it's a bit of a cult album. It has echoes of The Rapture, LCD Sound System, Block Party, those kind of bands. It just wants to make you dance at an indie club. When I grew up, I used to go to indie clubs and
I know
dance.
you did. I know you did.
With my spiky hair
Yeah.
and my black clothes.
Sure.
Tom Veck calls his music cryptic rock funk. I love that, actually.
Yeah, I like that too.
I think this was a really strong debut album. I want to thank Dave at Republic of Sync for letting us use it this week.
I can't wait to hear it. This sounds like something we could put in our car on our way to go run errands.
Yeah.
Get gift cards or drop off cookies or whatever we're doing this time of year. Am I right?
Yep, for sure. You
Great.
will bop along to this one.
Perfect. Let's listen to this and we will.
See you next Tuesday.
Right on cue.
nothing but green lights from here. Nothing but empty roads. You and I gonna drive ourselves out of this town in a 1989 black Mercedes-Benz. I can hear your voice from here, girl, and I can't hear no other sound. No need to spend any more time apart. That's it, I'm not being left out anymore. I got a hold on what's going on. I've got my foot in the door, so to speak. There's nothing but green lights from here. There's nothing but green lights from here. From here.
On Cue is produced and edited by Kathleen Gallacher.